Hello everyone and welcome to our week 5 team builder. The New York Empoleon are 3-1. We are just getting off a win over a couple extra wins actually in a row. And we are going to be taking on the Galactic Greninjas coached by Sean Stirs on Discord or Slippy Slurpy on Pokemon Showdown. So his team and my team pair up in one of the weirdest ways that I've ever encountered, which is to say that like he's going to look at my team and think he has a bad matchup, and I recognize that, and I'm looking at his team and think I have a bad matchup because there are mons that each of us have to be scared of on the other team, and I know that I have some win cons here, but I also know that his team is really, really scary. But like always, if he is uploading, his link will be in the description below, so guys, you can go check that out if you would like to. And so we are going to get right into it. His team is Tornadus Therian, Zeraora, Rotom Wash, Mega Heracross, Roserade, Klefki, Tyrantrum, Espeon, Exploud, Pangoro, and Diglett, with Zeraora and Tyrantrum being his two possible Z users. Honestly, looking at his team, he's got really solid speed tiers for the most part. He doesn't really have that like super slow element, which some teams do have, which is fine. He's just not running Trick Room, but he does have all the way up to Zeraora, which is incredibly blazing fast. But what I'm looking at when I look at his team is his two electric types are so scary for my team, because my big thing, obviously my speed, all comes from like Coco Lucha. I don't have anything else at base 100 or above, outside of obviously Ditto. And so I need to figure out a way to get Hawlucha reliably getting its boost off from Unburden, because Electric Terrain is super useful and I am bringing it this week. And I do have the Electric Seed, you'll see that on my Hawlucha later. But Zeraora really scares me, so I have to make sure I preserve my Coco really well, and keep it healthy, keep it in the back, so that late game I can definitely get that Hawlucha in. And Hawlucha cannot sweep early game. Klefki with Thunder Wave literally stops Hawlucha from sweeping outright. There's just no two ways about that. So I have to watch out. Klefki must be dead before Hawlucha can do anything, which is why I have a few answers to Klefki at the beginning of my team, you'll see. And this is sort of the order, like, if I was to have a preferred order for everything to die in, the order you see on the screen is kind of the order that I'm kind of expecting it to go. Now, Incineroar is a Dark type, which means that it's a free switch into Klefki. If it goes for Toxic, Thunder Wave, Defog, anything like that, can't hit me with it, so Dark type, super useful. Assault Vest allows me to take hits from Rotom a little bit better. Roserade is something that I actually can really counter instead of just maybe checking it. And Torn T I can take a hit from or two. Fake Out, Flare Blitz, U-turn, and Knock Off with the Assault Vest. Max Attack, Adamant, and some decent amount of speed here, which allows me to outspeed Rotom Wash with 4 speed in it, which is something that I think he may go with a defensive Rotom Wash this week. And that was just... It was like I didn't really know where else to put it, and I put the 40 in special defense instead of HP, because if you're using an Assault Vest, you get more benefit out of... You get basically 2 points every single time you put 1 into special defense instead of 1 point that you get into HP, so I might as well put it into special defense there. And Fake Out is good chip damage. One thing I was definitely having trouble with in Mox was a dual screens Light Clay Klefki, so I definitely want to make sure that I can handle that. Fake Out gets rid of gets a turn of screens out of the way. I thought about Brick Break, but the coverage wasn't that useful against his team, so I kind of didn't want to waste a move slot on it. But Knock Off can help stall out turns. U-turn, obviously, just intimidating and chipping around things and bouncing around is super useful. And Flare Blitz kills the Klefki, and that's really about it. I mean, it kills like everything. It's a max tag Adamant, Incineroar, clean Flare Blitz, but still, it's really there for the Klefki. Next up, we have our Druddigon, which is going to be an Aguav Berry this week with Mold Breaker, Earthquake, Sucker Punch, Stealth Rock, and Glare. As you may have noticed, he has an Espeon with Magic Bounce, so we're going to be rocking out Mold Breaker this week so we can set up our Stealth Rock no matter what he wants to do. Yes, he has Prankster, Defog, and Klefki. He also has a really reliable Defogger and Torn, but those being his really only forms of removal, or Rotom Wash, I guess, means that if he does bring the Espeon, I'm going to actually expect him maybe doesn't have removal, and Stealth Rock will be going up and staying up, which is something I think I really want this week, because getting rid of the Regenerator on Torn, chipping everything else down just a little bit, breaking a Sash on something, incredibly valuable, especially something like the Diglett. Which I am a little afraid of, but honestly, I think I can handle Diglett with most of my Mons, so I don't know if he'll bring it, but I do have to be wary of Arena Trap, just, you know, picking off something and then having to go and dealing with that situation. But since half my team has Baton Pass, U-turn, or Volt Switch, well, I guess not Volt Switch, but Baton Pass or U-turn, honestly, Diglett doesn't really threaten my team all that much. Earthquake hits the Rotom Wash with Mold Breaker as well. It hits the Zeraora. The only thing that's immune to it being the Torn T, which I can glare if I can have, if I can play really well. And I'm mostly a defensive set instead of specially defensive, so that I can switch in on the Zeraora. Zeraora going for like a Z, Electrium Z still does like 30%, which is perfect. I can take a rock type attack from a Tyrantrum, not a dragon type attack probably, but depends on his set and his spread. And Sucker Punch is there just because his stuff all outspeeds me, and so getting a little bit of chip damage late game could be incredibly useful. So that's the set we're going to be rocking with. Agua Berry allows me to take a hit from the Mega Heracross like a Pin Missile or a Rock Blast, and then recover and be able to survive it, and maybe glare that thing, which would be incredibly useful. Next up, we have another Assault Vest user, and honestly, I would have Assault Vested all three of these if I didn't want to run Stealth Rock and Glare on my Druddigon. Nidoqueen with Sheer Force. Assault Vest is going to rock Earth Power, Ice Beam, Sludge Wave, and Sucker Punch. Yes, it's named Lindis, and it's not green. I know. Apparently, you can't run Shiny Sucker Punch. I learned that. So, this is not going to be Shiny. It is going to be just named Lindis still, because she's still the princess slash queen, but Sucker Punch is going to force me to be blue. And so we are going to be rocking out Max Special Attack Modest, Earth Power, Ice Beam, and Sludge Wave cover pretty much everything on his team. Sucker Punch is really there for a late game Zeraora that I didn't handle well, or Torn T or something like that, that I want to just surprise with the Sucker Punch. As you can see, mine's attack nature. I really want this thing to be bulky anyway, so I thought about running a neutral nature, but getting the plus special attack to most of my hits is going to be very valuable this game. And the Sludge Wave pretty much hits everything not named Klefki, which the Earth Power covers, and the Tyrantrum, which the Earth Power also covers, and the Diglett, which the Ice Beam is really there for. And Ice Beam plus Sucker Punch can kill a Diglett, or Earth Power plus Sucker Punch can kill a Diglett that's trying to trap in my Nidoqueen. So that's going to be really useful. And I do outspeed. I'm running a bit of speed on this. This outspeeds a Rotom with just minimal investment, just a little bit faster than my Incineroar this week. Mostly, this is actually a... I probably should have moved some of those EVs. This is a carryover from... well, never mind. I'm not going to talk about it. But, yeah, so we're running out 214, which, again, just outspeeds that Rotom running a little bit more than maybe like 12 speed or so. It actually outspeeds a Rotom running like 20 speed, just in case he wants to put in a little bit of chip speed to try to outspeed, like something speed creeping it, something like that. We're just going to make sure that we outspeed that Rotom, basically, is where we want to be. Next up, we have the Tapu Koko. As I said before, we are going to be rocking out with the Electric Surge. We are going to be using Electrium Z Wild Charge, which I was so hesitant to use because if I hit it into Zeraora, it literally does nothing. And if I hit it into Diglett, it literally does nothing, but that doesn't scare me as much. Since Diglett doesn't outspeed me if he's not Scarfed. And Scarf Diglett means he can't take hits. So this thing is physically offensive. It's sort of Klefki bait. If he does set up a light screen, which is the thing you click on Koko most times, the first time you see a Koko, I can Z Wild Charge and kill it, and then not have to worry about screens anymore, which is sort of the reason there. Then I can defog to get rid of the screen so that my Hawlucha has the best chance of succeeding. This also counters Klefki in the sense that I can defog whatever screens he does set up, if he's like way set up, and spikes, if he's trying to set those up as well. He does have toxic spikes as well in the Roserade, and I don't have a grounded poison type. Oh, I have Nidoqueen, just kidding. But you know what I mean, like if I don't have a grounded poison type at the time, or I don't want to switch my Nidoqueen in because it's a bad switch in, then Koko can come in and defog away everything. So defog was just useful to have, and Roost was there for longevity's sake. Like I said, preserving Koko is going to be pretty paramount to my success this week. So we'll see how that goes. U-turn is better than Volt Switch this week since it hits Zeraora and the Diglett and allows me to switch out and keep Koko healthy and around. Next up we have Ditto. Nothing special about this Ditto. It is Hidden Power Ice. So again, nothing terribly special about Ditto. It's just going to be a Scarf Ditto. It's going to be able to come in on the Zeraora to take the Volt Absorb. It can come in on Torn T to scout out the set and get Regenerator. It comes in on the Klefki and gets Prankster and can set up screens for me. It comes in on Espeon, gets Magic Bounce if he really wants to be cheeky and try to do something to my Mons. So it comes in on Diglett, traps Diglett and kills it back. So honestly, Ditto, very, very helpful this week. This man kind of lives and thrives on his abilities, so being able to use those abilities against him is absolutely phenomenal. And that's what Ditto's really here for. And it's HP Ice just in case he does bring in something that's got hidden power like a Roserade and wants to go to Torn T to take the hit. I am able to click hidden power, although Sludge Bomb in that case is probably better, honestly, anyway. But you know, like that's just, it's Hidden Power Ice because it's Hidden Power Ice. And lastly, we do have Hawlucha with the Electric Seed. It is Unburdened this week. Acrobatics, High Jump Kick, Swords Dance, and Substitute. This thing gets behind it. So if I can bring this in safely and force a switch, then setting up a Substitute, if I'm Unburdened boosted, I can be a +2 attack, +1 defense from the Electric Seed, and sweep his entire team with High Jump Kick Acrobatics coverage, barring obviously protects or misses or whatever. And this thing is designed to outspeed the Diglett. If it is not Choice Scarfed Diglett, that is what this is for. Otherwise, other things can outspeed me, but not after an Unburdened boost. And after an Unburdened boost, then we are looking at outspeeding even a Choice Scarfed Zeraora. So those two things happen to be exactly the same speed tier, which is awesome. So once I get that Unburdened boost up, I can handle just about anything. But it is self-sufficient even before getting an Unburdened up, even though I'm not guaranteed to outspeed the Espeon without the Unburdened, and definitely not going to outspeed the Torrentee or the Zeraora. So that's the team this week. I am really scared of his team. His draft is fantastic. He is, I think he just won like 5-0 last week too, so he's just figured himself out. And so I'm really worried about this team. I think this is the best team to counter what he's got though. I was losing every mock until I played with this team, and then this team started winning mocks, so I'm like, okay, maybe they've got a shot, unless I get hacked to death, which is entirely possible and very reasonable within my expectations, especially on Showdown. Anyway, that's the team builder this week. Hope you guys are enjoying this walk through or run through or exciting part of my Showdown League. It's the first time I'm really doing separate team builders after taking a time off from doing them. I'll possibly go back to doing them for the GBA as well, so keep an eye out for that. This video goes up way after the first GBA video does, but it's being recorded before that, so just a heads up there. So you'll know if I'm doing team builders for the GBA by this point. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all tomorrow with the battle against Seansters and the Galactic Greninjas. Take care, everybody.